Alright, so I've seen many people speculating about this upcoming winter, and I've seen a lot of different ideas. A lot of professionals actually really do have the right idea this year, while some don't. I've also seen some people trying to debate with me. Many people actually trying to debate with me. I will not say names unless you want to put your name out there. I don't care. But you have to understand how the weather works. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to school for meteorology, are you just studying meteorology? What part of meteorology are you studying? Do you also study earth science? I have about knowledge in about 60 different areas, including earth science, and also factoring in astrology and stuff correlating to that. Astronomical cycles, these are all very important factors. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reminisce what I've been tweeting, but you're going to hear my voice project what I'm saying, so you'll understand more of what's going on. Okay, so if we go over to the tweets real quick, it's a lot easier than me going over to a website that I already pretty much captioned on here. We're just going to look over at the photos that I basically pretty much congealed. So, what you're looking at over here is a very good sign. I know people say, but it's warm. Yeah, it's warm. You want to be warm now because you don't want to be warm later. I'm telling you, you don't want that because your winter is gone, okay? During the year of the Boxing Day blizzard, I got slammed with 36 inches of snow. This was a day after Christmas, guys, keep in mind. Winds pushing 65 miles per hour, and a snowplow broke down and got stuck in front of my house. Thunder and lightning and snow. It was crazy. It lasted for 24 hours. It battered eastern New Jersey, but it really gypped western New Jersey, PA, parts of New York State. My house got stuck under deformation band. Guess what happened in February? This mega mammoth blizzard. Before then, in January, we got bombarded by these 6 12-inch snowstorms back to back. February rolled around, February 1st, there was supposed to be a blizzard that was supposed to hit New Jersey, and guess what happened? It cut right into the Great Lakes, and the winter was done after that. Going back to this is literally a motherload of a trough. I mean, you have an Alaskan low, you have an Icelandic low, battering a blizzard right into Greenland. I mean, if you understand how physics works, okay? Low pressure, all right, is air that is converging. The air is rising while the pressure drops. It's the density of the air. So what happens at the top of low pressure? You have a divergence. You have a divergence of high pressure, and this causes that. High pressure, low pressure. Another thing as well, what happens is that high pressure travels to low pressure. Okay? This is how the pressures alleviate each other. So, if you're looking at this and you have all this pressure sinking, what's going to happen down here? At the top of these storm systems, the air is diverging, and that air is pretty much transported to what you're seeing over here. Once that air diverges off the low pressure, okay, it goes to the high pressure. But high pressure goes to low pressure. If you understand what I'm trying to say, I could probably pull up a diagram. So basically, I use this real quick for example. You guys have to learn this, okay? Alright? If low pressure, this is low pressure, alright? You have all this coming up. It's going to eventually get to a certain point, and it's going to come back down as high pressure. This is physics right here. That's the natural cycle. So what happens is once it goes back down, what happens? It has to come back up. That's basically how low pressure has its cycles. High pressure is the opposite. It focuses on divergence with convergence following afterwards. So as the low pressures are strengthening here, you're also increasing pressure down over here. High pressure is dominating this southern area, and I show you. You have a clockwise flow, surging warm air up north like this. And you can clearly see that. Right now, our anomalies are not supportive for any snowstorms or cold. I mean, look at this. This high pressure system, you don't want that there because that's allowing the storm up in Alaska to strengthen. Now, if this low pressure was here, okay, or here, then we're in good shape. But we're not. At least for snowstorms basically in the fall. Now, that's not to say that that can't happen, but it's not that likely. And if the timing is right, when the pattern starts to flip, say around, I would say, maybe late November, early December, that's a pretty good time. Even if it happens like a week before New Year's, it's good. Anything past that and you're in a little bit of trouble, but I'm not worried about that at all. So, you want this to flip. All of this high pressure, you want to have all of this up in this area. You want low pressure in the opposite areas, except for the west coast. You don't want it on here. You want it here, you want it here, all right? And you want high pressure up in Greenland, absolutely. So we're going to go down a little bit more. Somebody posted way out in advance a model printout, and I picked up on some symbols over here. So if you have a low pressure over here, okay, you have high pressure in Greenland. This is creating blocking. This can also displace cold air. However, what I don't see is high pressure here drilling cold air down. Now, yes, there's a high pressure here that can flood the storm with warm air, but it's stale. Because if you see, you take what's over here, you spin it around, and now you're kind of throwing it to more cooler air, and it's stale. It almost has no effect, but it also prevents the storm from running inland. You have another high pressure here that prevents the storm from going out to sea. This is way, way, way out in advance, so obviously this is not going to most likely not happen at all. 300-hour advanced predictions, verify 5% of the time, maybe not even. But this anomaly right here, this is very important. Because then you have high pressure here, and that also amplifies low pressure here. So we're just going to kind of continue with what I'm meandering, and I'm basically explaining to you what kind of setup you want for this winter. High pressure here, negative NAO. You want a Portugal low, very important, high pressure east of this area of the Caribbean. El Nino regions, Nino region 3.4, ejecting low pressure into the Gulf of Mexico. You have high pressure in Alaska. Aleutian low is spitting out energy, goes around between the pressures, and voila, you have a beautiful winter setting up. Right now, this polar vortex is very strong. I mean, look at this right here. Just look at this flow. Look at the speed and how massive the radius is. It is truly incredible. But I really would not worry about this winter at all. I mean, the correlation with the euro is pretty much spot on as well. Another thing I wanted to point out is I've seen people use these monthly SST anomaly maps. Please do not do this because temperatures fluctuate. It happens. It can happen daily, weekly, bi-weekly. Don't use these. Please don't use these. I've seen people use them. Alright? Don't use them. And I'm pointing out to you guys there's nothing to worry about. Do you see this over here? Nino region 3.4 is rapidly heating up. Your Peruvian current is just starting to rear its head right over here. I even show you guys a GIF of it happening. Also, you can see that the cyclone that made landfall in Yemen also cooled the waters off over here. But again, you look back over here, same thing is happening. You have your Peruvian current showing very well, eradicating any chance of east-based El Nino. The Gulf Stream this year is going to be very active. Okay? Another very important fact you have to look at. I mean, this is textbook criteria Peruvian current, home flow current. Look where the arrow goes. Now look at the diagram. I mean, it's identical of what it is showing, what I am trying to portray to you. Why did it just do that? I'm trying to scroll, Twitter. Don't refresh my feed. Thank you. Here, a nice, better close-up. Do you see the Peruvian current over here? This is called upwelling. What happens is you have increasing trade winds blowing off the warm surface water, transporting it west. How are you going to have an El Nino east-based form if all the warm waters on the surface are being blown in this general direction? You can't. I mean, even the Earth program picks it up, especially on the Atacama Desert, the anomaly that's being picked up, it's transporting it. And where does it go? Into this area, and it's cooling it off. It's cooling it off. Weather expert also showing the same exact thing. So there's no need to worry. Okay, here, close up right here. Beautiful. You see the anomaly? Do you see the trail it's starting to make? I mean, the correlation is there. You don't have to worry about the winter. All right? Someone brought up, oh, but the CAFS V2 model is showing this. Well, you know what? Why did it show in September looking like this, but it ended up being the complete opposite? Because the model sucks. That's why. I have learned to not rely so much on models. I really learned to not rely so much on them. So we looked over with this, and I was talking with the National Weather Service in Caribou about this, and they do agree with my statement. But just for informational purposes, that they have to be posted. Do I agree with this? No. I do not agree with this entirely. I agree with parts of it, but not entirely. I'm probably going to push right into the 15-minute margin, because I want to try to cover as much information as possible. Here's a teleconnection a lot of people don't know about. The TNH, Tropical Northern Hemisphere. Trop sets up here, ridge sets up here. Northeast-southwest orientation, allowing the storm to ride up the coast. When is this going to happen? Well, apparently it's going to happen around January. If this is the case, all the talk about a dud of a winter and this and that bullshit is not going to happen. Alright? Period. It's not going to happen. So there's no need to worry. Right now, we are also in a negative PDO oscillation. I actually had to block this person because he got very abusive with me and went from becoming a debate to an argument, which I love debating. I love arguing. Hell, even if it turns into a weather fight, you're going to learn something from it. You have to always flex your knowledge and learn something. Because what if you're preaching something and you're wrong? This person can prove to you that you're wrong and teach you the right thing. But clearly, we're in a negative phase, and the person trying to argue we're in a positive, and we clearly are not in a positive phase. There is no Aleutian low. So there's no positive. But, you know, I wouldn't really worry that much, because look what's going on. Look what's going on right here. You have the opposite happening. The PDO, okay, is slowly but surely going to go to positive. I am 100% certain with that. When you have a warm anomaly blowing up around Alaska like this, and you see this popping up, the transition's already happening. Again, same thing. I show you. Little bit more benign, but it's still the same character. Peruvian hump-flow current, 3.4 linear region, El Nino. Okay? Like, I'm literally presenting to you in so many different proven facts and forms. The mean sea level pressure indicates the same thing. As the pressures are rising over by the east, they're sinking north and west. I mean, everything I have been saying, including the actual convection going on in these areas, is happening. So, cut the talk about winter is going to be a dud, because it is not going to be a dud. I will promise you that. And nobody ever talks about this current. Like, I feel like I'm the only person that does. And I wish people did talk about this. But it exists, people. Strong Peruvian current, strong trade winds. It's not going to be this strong, of course, because we're not going to a La Nina this winter. It's going to be a weak to moderate El Nino at best. So, don't worry, alright? Because I'm not worried. Also, for some fun, the catastrophic flooding in Texas, low pressure barrels cools down the water. I just want to take a little screenshot of that. But, yeah, you know, I wouldn't really worry. And also, this right here, this is telling me something. Okay, so that's my long, obnoxious video. Enjoy.